Vale, a ver, probando por aquí. Ok. Vamos a ver. Vale. Vamos a repetir la partidilla, pero vamos a estar atentos a los comentarios de los desarrolladores del juego, ya que la verdad que es un juego bastante original. Y van a ser en inglés, aunque vamos a tener los subtítulos en español también, pero para mí por lo menos va a ser bastante interesante tener este gameplay, pues dejarlo grabado aquí, ¿no? En el canal. Así que vamos con Portal con RTX.
Welcome to
Game Name here.
Hopefully you've already had a chance to enjoy the offbeat perspective and new game mechanic of Portal. To listen to a commentary node, put your crosshair over the floating commentary symbol and press your use key. To stop a commentary node, put your crosshair over the rotating node and press the use key again. Some commentary nodes may take control of the game in order to show something to you. In these cases, simply press your use key again to stop the commentary. Please let me know what you think after you've had a chance to play, as we think we are just at the beginning of taking advantage of this type of gameplay. I can be reached at gaben@valvesoftware.com. Thanks, and have fun.
Saca Half-Life 3, cabronazo.
One of the things we learned from our bachelor computer-aided enrichment center. We hope your brief detention in the relaxation vault has been a pleasant one. Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper. Before we start, however, keep in mind that although fun and learning are the primary goals of all enrichment center activities, serious injuries may occur. For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from and back. The portal will open in 3, 2, 1.
Tenemos una 4090 aquí para nosotros. Nos han dejado... Vale, vamos a ver el primer comentario.
One of the things we learned from our Bacular Drop, our student project that became Portal, was that players often thought portals took them into other spaces, or even other dimensions. To help fight that notion, we start players in a visually unique room with memorable objects, so that when they walk through a portal for the first time, they have a clear point of reference which communicates the idea that they're still in the same basic location. For instance, the radio, which is playing an instrumental version of Still Alive, helps as well by providing some audio continuity. It's absolutely critical that players quickly wrap their heads around what a portal is. We noticed early playtesters grasped the concept much more quickly when they caught a glimpse of themselves through a portal. So we deliberately positioned this first portal to ensure that players will invariably see themselves.
We put the player character in an orange jumpsuit to reinforce the fact that she's a test subject. Visually, the warmer colors helped her pop out against the colder tones of her environment. Some playtesters were wondering why she could fall so far without getting hurt the way she would have if she were in Half-Life 2. In response, we added a mechanized heel spring to her lower legs. Afterwards, there was no longer any question about why she could survive such long falls.
These frosted glass observation rooms make the player feel as if they're being watched at all times, while keeping the identity of these watchers a mystery. The rooms serve a practical purpose as well, since we often use them as convenient and logical light sources for the test chambers.
Había parecido ver al principio que SV Cheats One se han puesto trucos o algo. Yo no he sido,
Portal is effectively an extended player training exercise. We spend a huge portion of the game introducing a series of gameplay tools, then layering those tools into increasingly difficult puzzles. This layering starts here, where we train the button and box mechanic, before introducing the more complicated concept of portals.
Excellent. Please proceed into the chamber lock after completing each test. First, however, note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This aperture science material emancipation grill will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it. For instance, the aperture science weighted storage cube. Please place the weighted storage cube on the 1500 megawatt aperture science heavy-duty super colliding super button.
We wanted players to feel safe while standing in a portal, so we never kill them or destroy objects within a portal that's closing. Instead, we either push or teleport objects out of a portal as it closes.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock, as the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
We very deliberately introduce and train each gameplay concept in Portal, so that once players reach this spot, we're confident that they know what a portal is and roughly how it works. Early versions of the game let players stumble through the beginning, without always understanding what was going on, which really compromised teaching new concepts. The puzzle you just finished was designed so that stumbling around will almost always lead to a dead end. Completing the puzzle requires walking through a minimum of 5 portals in a specific order. This kind of gating, in which a solid understanding of key gameplay concept is required for success, helped standardize the learning curve of the game tremendously.
You're doing very well. Please be advised that a noticeable taste of blood is not part of any test protocol, but is an unintended side effect of the aperture science material emancipation grip, which may, in semi-rare cases, emancipate dental fillings, crowns, tooth enamel, and teeth.
In early versions of this map, playtesters would charge down the stairs without noticing what was creating the portals. We introduced a mandatory pause in the action, what we call a gate, to help ensure that players stop and notice the portal gun making the blue portal. The particle effect and a loud noise helped draw their attention.
Very good. You are now in possession of the Aperture Science handheld portal device. With it, you can create your own portals. These intradimensional gates have proven to be completely safe. The device, however, has not. Do not touch the operational end of the device. Do not look directly at the operational end of the device. Do not submerge the device in liquid, even partially. Most importantly, under no circumstances should you...
Hola, Rania, saludos.
Please proceed to the chamber lock. Mind the gap.
This room was designed to make players understand that entrance and exit portals aren't tied to the color of the portal. Playtesters often assumed that orange portals were exit only, so we created this puzzle to force players to enter an orange portal.
When rendering the player's view through a portal, we must render a separate image using a virtual camera which looks out of the opposite portal. To obtain a correct image and efficient rendering performance, we render only what is visible through the limited field of view of the opposite portal and exclude objects which lie between the virtual camera and the plane of the opposite portal.
Well done. Remember, the Aperture Science Bring Your Daughter to Work Day is the perfect time to have her tested.
The combination of portal-destroying fields, which we call fizzlers, and the elevators, serve a dual purpose. They provide a clearly identifiable endpoint for each test chamber, while also addressing the more practical problem of how to keep players from portaling across level loads. We eventually integrated the fizzlers into several of our puzzle designs.
Welcome to Test Chamber 4. You're doing quite well.
For training purposes, there's generally just one correct solution to these early puzzles. The original version of this room didn't have the glass barrier. Playtesters would often stand on the button to open the door and then shoot a blue portal through the opening, bypassing the box entirely. Since this puzzle was meant to illustrate the relationship between boxes and buttons, that solution, while clever, was a failure. So we added the glass barrier to prevent it. Later in the game, however, the puzzles become more open-ended.
Integrating portals with Source Engine's physics system was a complex process that required several iterations to achieve the right balance of performance and correctness. Because portals can be placed virtually anywhere in the game's environment, the physics system had to be modified to allow dynamic changes to its representation of colliding geometry, such as the walls and floor around this box, and any objects which may lie on the opposite side of the portal. Initial implementations of this dynamic collision generation system could take up to 1/2 of 1 second, or 500 milliseconds, to compute the correct collision. This may not sound like a long time in everyday life, but this pause during the portal creation was quite noticeable in the context of a game. Ultimately, we designed a system that creates temporary hybrid physics environments in bubbles around the portals, using less accurate collision than that produced by Source's standard collision generation, but was accurate enough in practice and reduced the time to create dynamic collision representation from 500 milliseconds to just 10 milliseconds, which is an imperceptible pause during portal creation.
Fua, chaval.
Once again, excellent work. As part of our required test protocol, we will not monitor the next test chamber. You will be entirely on your own. Good luck. To ensure the safe performance of all authorized activities, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
Early versions of Portal featured more detailed, cluttered environments, much like Half-Life 2. We quickly realized that unnecessary objects scattered all over the place distracted players to the point where it actually interfered with the Portal training process. So we simplified the art style to favor clean, focused test chambers. The modular approach we settled on makes it look plausible that the chambers can reform dynamically on these pistons.
As part of a required test protocol, our previous statement suggesting that we would not monitor this chamber was an outright fabrication. Good job. As part of a required test protocol, we will stop enhancing the truth in 3, 2, While safety is one of many Enrichment Center goals, the Aperture Science high-energy pellet seen to the left of the chamber can and has caused permanent disabilities such as vaporization. Please be careful.
To make puzzles deeper than just teleporting to the exit, we had to include surfaces that won't hold a portal, which are formally introduced here. We experimented with several surface designs before we settled on this one, whose visual noise and reflectivity make it easy to identify at a distance.
Unbelievable. You, subject name here, must be the pride of subject hometown here. Warning devices are required on all mobile equipment. However, alarms and flashing hazard lights have been found to agitate a high-energy pellet and have therefore been disabled for your safety. Good. Now use the Aperture Science unstationary scaffold to reach the chamber lock.
Originally, these scaffolds ran on electrified tracks, but crafty playtesters would hop along the rails to the exit, bypassing the puzzle entirely. We tried to solve this by killing players as soon as they touched the rails. That solution ended up being too much of an overcorrection, as even skilled playtesters were getting frustrated by these one-hit kills in the more complex puzzles later in the game. Making the scaffolds run along immaterial beams of light solved both problems.
Saludos, Trébol. ¿Cómo estás?
Please note that we have added a consequence for failure. Any contact with the chamber floor will result in an unsatisfactory mark on your official testing record, followed by death. Good luck.
Even though layering player training was a design goal from the start, we still ended up introducing some concepts too quickly. For instance, this used to be the first energy ball redirection puzzle. Playtesting revealed that this puzzle introduced too many new concepts at once, which ended up frustrating a lot of playtesters. In response, we inserted 2 test chambers before this one to make the energy ball redirection training more gradual.
Pues sí, la verdad que este es el paso entre todas las pruebas que hemos hecho que más complejidad, digamos, requiere, más que nada porque tienes lo del suelo y que el portal que creamos ahora ya te pasa la bolita esta por el medio de la cara, y como no andes aquí rápido, pues vale, tiene que lanzar otra. Ok, ahora nos adelantaríamos. Ponerlo arriba también. Quizás está más fácil.
We previously talked about how we handle static portal collision, but collision with moving objects on the other side of a portal is a completely different and equally hard problem. Walking onto this scaffold was a very iffy proposition for the first few months of development. We solved the problem of colliding with these dynamic objects by cloning the objects from one portal to the other and strictly controlling what objects are allowed to collide with each other and how they're allowed to collide.
Tengo que tener cuidado con eso porque cuando Claro, el comentario lo puedo parar en caso...
We previously talked
vale,
about
vale,
how
lo
we
puedo hacer a
handle...
distancia. Vale, vale,
We
vale.
previously talked about how we handle static portal collision.
Claro, cuando se junta la voz con la de la robot, pues no me...
We previously talked about how we handle static portal collision, but collision with moving objects on the other side of a portal is a completely different and equally hard problem. Walking onto this scaffold was a very iffy proposition for the first few months of development. We solved the problem of colliding with these dynamic objects by cloning the objects from one portal to the other and strictly controlling what objects are allowed to collide with each other and how they're allowed to collide.
Maravilloso. O sea, tocar el código del motor gráfico únicamente para hacer este juego, la verdad es que, o sea... no voy a compararlo con lo que tenemos hoy en día, pero... ya podían tomar nota, macho.
The Enrichment Center regrets to inform you that this next test is impossible. Make no attempt to solve it.
For the first few months of development, we rendered the views through portals to 2 off-screen textures. This approach was easy to implement and was compatible with a wide range of graphics hardware. Unfortunately, this method was incompatible with anti-aliasing and consumed a large amount of video memory in order to handle recursive views through...
Apologizes for this clearly broken test chamber.
For the first few months of development, we rendered the views through portals to 2 off-screen textures. This approach was easy to implement and was compatible with a wide range of graphics hardware. Unfortunately, this method was incompatible with anti-aliasing and consumed a large amount of video memory in order to handle recursive views through several portals. Because of these disadvantages, we switched to a system which renders portal views recursively into the frame buffer with the aid of the stencil buffer to isolate pixels corresponding to a given portal. This is a more effective scheme because it is compatible with anti-aliasing and does not consume any additional video memory for off-screen textures.
Pues perfecto.
Frankly, this chamber was a mistake. If we were you, we would quit.
Me va a estar desmoralizando todo el rato hasta que... a ver...
Because our test chamber environments were simplified for training purposes, we created visual hotspots within the rooms to guide players' attention. The design is essentially a balance between round objects and sharp objects. The sharp objects representing background elements and the round objects...
In fact,
because our test chamber environments were simplified for training purposes, because our test chamber environments were simplified for training purposes, because our test chamber environment
punto de interés visual.
Quit now, and cake will be served immediately.
Lo romperá, ¿no? Sí, la ha roto.
Fantastic. You remain resolute and resourceful in an atmosphere of extreme pessimism.
Wow.
Hello again. To reiterate, previously, momentum.
Portal momentum ended up being the hardest concept to convey. For this series of puzzles, which went through more design iterations than virtually any other part of the game, we introduced the idea of redirecting your momentum using portals, slowly, step by step. We even have the AI voice pretty explicitly explain the elements of the puzzle, something we avoided throughout most of the rest of the game.
Using gravity to fall into one portal so that you come rocketing out the other portal, a skill we call flinging, was another difficult concept to train. We designed a specific visual cue, a pushed-out concrete block with checkerboard tile above a pit, to indicate to players that it's time to use the fling maneuver. Repeated several times, this cue helps players associate pushed-out concrete slabs with flinging, in much the same way that players learn to associate cubes with buttons.
Spectacular. You appear to understand how a portal affects forward momentum, or to be more precise, how it does not.
Originally, these exit portal surfaces were static geometry in the final position, but playtesters stubbornly refused to look up to find them. This is another example of the classic game design problem of coaxing players to look up. By putting the portals on moving pistons, we were able to start them in a position that players were more likely to see. Originally, these exit portal surfaces were static geometry .
Momentum, a function of mass and velocity, is conserved between portals. In layman's terms, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
Originally,
The Enrichment Center promises to always provide a safe testing environment. In dangerous testing environments, the Enrichment Center promises to always provide useful advice. For instance, the floor here will kill you. Try to avoid it.
We found that rather than looking into portals to see where it went, playtesters would often leap blindly to their doom. In response to this observation, the moral of this puzzle is, look before you leap. The safe orange portal is out of the player's view from this balcony. That forces them to peer through a portal to see it, which trains players in the remote viewing capabilities of portals.
Originally, a weighted button was used to open the far door, but playtesters so strongly associated boxes with buttons that they'd get stuck searching hopelessly for a box. We changed the big button to a pedestal-mounted push button, thus removing the box association, but playtesters still had trouble realising they needed to shoot a portal through the door. Adding a ticking timer sound when the door was open cued players that the puzzle expected them to act during that time, which solved the problem.
Qué guay tú.
This room is designed to This room is designed to build anticipation for the big moment when players finally get the fully powered portal gun. The puzzle path brings you in a circle around the device, so that it's virtually always in sight, right up until you grab it.
Modified so that it can now manufacture 2 linked portals at once. As part of an optional test protocol, we are pleased to present an amusing fact. The device is now more valuable than the organs and combined incomes of everyone in. Subject phone call here.
Morí. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Porque estaba muy lejos.
The device has been modified so that it can now manufacture 2 linked portals at once. As part of an optional test protocol, we are pleased to present an amusing fact. The device is now more valuable than the organs and combined incomes of everyone in. Subject phone call here.
Casi la lío otra vez, ¿eh? Lo podía haber hecho un poco más abajo el...
Player training doesn't always stick, especially after the introduction of a big new concept. For instance, after they had acquired the fully powered portal device, playtesters often forgot about the fling maneuver. Since it's such an important skill, this puzzle is designed to reintroduce the idea of flinging.
Get into there, fling yourself. Fling into space.
When we moved from largely placeholder art to our final visual design, this was the first level to get a facelift. We chose this map because it had many of our gameplay elements integrated into a relatively small space. The test chamber art direction was designed to make everything appear purposefully placed. The simple design helps focus players on the puzzles. It also provides a nice contrast to the later, much less sterile behind-the-scenes environments, which contributes to a clear sense of progression.
Now that you are in control of both portals, this next test could take a very, very long time. If you become lightheaded from thirst, feel free to pass out. An intubation associate will be dispatched to revive you with peptic salve and adrenaline.
Ay, no me deja... Claro, este cristal en medio.
For your own safety, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
¿Dónde está la pelota?
This is the first map in which we experimented with solving the puzzle in as few portal placements as possible. We tried to fit that concept into the story mode, but were never quite able to sell it. Instead of abandoning the idea altogether, we added the concept to a series of post-game challenge maps.
As part of a previously mentioned required test protocol, we can no longer lie to you. When the testing is over, you will be missed.
A problem we came across with virtually any puzzle involving boxes and doors was that the players could portal the boxes to the other side of the door, thereby trapping themselves in a room with buttons but no boxes. We set up special triggers to detect and handle these cases, and then added the box delivery tubes to ensure players could always be supplied with the required tools.
Certain objects may be vital to your success. Do not destroy testing apparatus.
A few playtesters put a portal on the floor here, and used the rising stair pit to skip the rest of the puzzle. We'll usually rework a level if playtesters discover a way to bypass chunks of the puzzle too easily. But in this and a few other cases where skipping ahead arguably takes more skill than solving the puzzle properly, we let the ninja solution stand.
All subjects intending to handle high-energy gamma-leaking portal technology must be informed that they may be informed of applicable regulatory compliance issues. No further compliance information is required or will be provided, and you are an excellent test subject.
This is a great spot to appreciate the recursive nature of portals. If you place a portal on each side of this hallway, you'll notice the portals seem to go on forever, similar to the effect you get in a Hall of Mirrors. In actuality, we support a maximum of 9 recursive portal views down any chain of portals. We achieve the impression of infinite recursion by copying part of the previously rendered frame onto the final portal in the recursive chain. It's not perfect, but it's inexpensive and effective. This is a great spot to appreciate the recursive nature of portals. If you place a portal on each side of this hallway, you'll notice the portals seem to go on forever, similar to the effect you get in a Hall of Mirrors. In actuality, we support a maximum of 9 recursive portal views down any chain of portals. We achieve the impression of infinite recursion by copying part of the previously rendered frame onto the final portal in the recursive chain. It's not perfect, but it's inexpensive and effective.
We designed this room to draw the player's eyes to the box. The light from the observation room casts horizontal shadows that point at the box, which is directly lit by a warm light from the ceiling. This warm light helps the box stand out against the predominantly cool test chamber lighting. The varying size squares of the off-limit surface also help direct the player's attention upward.
Claro. Aquí tenemos un par de opciones. Una es esta. ¡Ay! ¡Qué corto soy! ¡Qué corto soy! ¡Qué corto soy! ¡Qué corto soy! Nos llevamos en naranja.
Very good. A complimentary victory lift has been activated in the main chamber. The Enrichment Center is committed to the well-being of all participants. Cake and brief counseling will be available at the conclusion of the test. Thank you for helping us help you help us all.
This particular section went through several iterations because it's the first place where players are required to perform possibly the trickiest portal maneuver, the double fling. Originally, the room also featured an energy ball redirection puzzle. Combined with a new double fling skill, however, it proved to be too much for most playtesters. Overwhelmed players tend to not digest new information, so we simplified the puzzle to require only the double fling. To nudge players in the right direction, we also included visual hints, such as the previously introduced single fling theme, the pushed-out concrete slab with a checkerboard landing zone.
La verdad es que recuerdo la primera vez que jugué al juego que sí, que es algo totalmente diferente a lo que, a pesar de haber estado jugando toda la vida a videojuegos, pues no estás acostumbrado y o sea, lo aprendes, pero notas tu cerebro que va un poco lento, o sea, que no sigue el ritmo que te lleva el juego. Eso es lo que venía siendo juego normal, vaya, aquí son solamente 19 niveles y más o menos pues está pillada la movida.
This puzzle requires players to redirect an energy ball through multiple portal placements. The multiple steps caused many early playtesters to panic and accidentally redirect a ball right into themselves, with deadly results. We redesigned the test chambers so that portals can only be placed in the top half of the room, which solved the problem by generally leaving players out of the ball's reach. This puzzle requires players to redirect an energy ball through multiple portal placements. The multiple steps caused many early playtesters to panic and accidentally redirect a ball right into themselves, with deadly results. We redesigned the test chambers so that portals can only be placed in the top half of the room, which solved the problem by generally leaving players out of the ball's reach.
Claro, o sea, esto te lo ponen todo con las paredes blancas y claro, tú imagínate que puedes crear un portal aquí, pues coges la bola y te creas un portal por aquí, pues va a empezar a rebotar por todos los lados, al final te va a terminar matando y no vas a terminar pillando el concepto que es que si te metes en un sitio de estos, por todos los portales que hagas van a desaparecer, y todos los que hagas aquí lo mismo. Si te pasas aquí al otro lado va a desaparecer. Es el rollo, ¿no? Y la complejidad de este asunto. Mira.
Vital testing apparatus destroyed.
Mira, se nos ha descontrolado esta. y termina yendo para abajo también, ¿eh? No es mal que se gasta. Ahora tira otra. Vale, la bola sí que pasa. Y ahora pega aquí. Aquí arriba. Se gastó la bola. Este es el punto. Aquí y aquí arriba. Eso es. Súper ingenioso, tío. Súper ingenioso el juego. Y eso que aún puedes pillarla de esto y la bola, sí. Bueno, ahora porque no tira más, pero esta misión la puedes coger, esta pantalla la puedes coger aislada, la puedes cargar. Y me estoy divirtiendo antes porque cogía la cámara y le intentaba meter por aquí y chocaba con la bola y hacía que fuese para arriba y para abajo. Y quería hacer esto mismo que he hecho ahora, pero con el menor número de movimientos. Y eso implicaba pues pegarme 7 horas y media con la camarita aquí, dándole para arriba y para abajo a la bola hasta que encajase en el sitio. Pero bueno, let's go.
We noticed through our playtest that many of our players weren't aware of the fact that you could place portals while falling. Since placing portals as you are falling is essential to accomplishing flings and many other portal tricks, we implemented this puzzle so that the only way to solve it was to use the mid-air placement tactic. It took numerous iterations and lots of tuning before this consistently played well.
No llega. directamente. Claro, es que además te conserva la orientación el portal que crees. Y aquí pues puedes morir también. Si da la casualidad que coincides con la bolita, pues... Maravilloso.
Perhaps the most important purpose of this final test chamber is to cement the double fling maneuver training. For previous flings, we employed a visual cue, a pushed out section of a wall. In preparation for the more freeform behind the scenes levels, however, we take the training wheels off. To proceed, players must realize they can double fling almost anywhere they want to, with or without hints.
Claro. Aquí no hay ayuda, por así decirlo. Coño, ¿dónde estoy guardado? No. Bueno, da igual. La verdad es que da igual. He guardado rápido, 917. ¿No? 58. Sí, este. Quieto, Pikachu. Ya la he jodido. ¡No! ¡No! ¡Qué complicado! ¡Qué guapo, tú! Claro, es que ahí hay un momento que no sabes dónde cojones estás parado. Lo quería hacer rápido y del tirón, pero... Vale. Ok, el portal lo tenemos ahí, el azul. Por lo tanto, simplemente... acción lateral para no volvernos a caernos en el agujero. Aquí ayudaría unas flechas moviéndose en el sentido en el que hay que ir, porque para cuando ves hacia dónde está apuntando la flecha, etcétera, bueno, tampoco pasa nada, se pilla al final. Pero... o sea, está guay, está guay.
In this puzzle, we wanted players to realize that using portals, they can travel long distances in a short step. Originally, we had stairs from the ground level to the upper rooms. Many playtesters, however, were able to run from one room to the other quickly enough to consider it a solution, without ever thinking to use the even easier portal method. By changing the stairs to very slow-moving lifts, we were able to level the travel time for all player experience levels, thus making the intended solution more clear.
Qué fuerte, tú como andan buscando la vuelta. Y es que es lo que hay que hacer, tío. Qué estudio tan currado, macho. Tan analizado. Además te marcan que es el número 1, por ejemplo. No va a dar tiempo. Uf, ¿qué he hecho? ¿Cómo me he liado? ¿Qué ha pasado con la bolita? Pega, ¿no? Eso es. ¡Gol! Le hemos liado un poco, pero bueno. Traguito de zumo. Los comentarios en la parte de cara al final, cara del boss fight. O sea, pues es que son todos muy interesantes, la verdad, por lo menos.
Due to mandatory scheduled maintenance, the appropriate chamber for this testing sequence is currently unavailable. It has been replaced with a live fire course designed for military androids. The Enrichment Center apologizes for the inconvenience and wishes you the best of luck.
For Portal, we wanted to create a turret that was different from the traditional Half-Life 2 turrets. The Half-Life 2 turrets are nothing more than mindless mounted guns. In Portal, we wanted the turrets to have personality, to be characters. The first step was a redesign of the look. Once we had the look of the new turrets, they seemed less like menacing machine guns and more like cute robots. And robots can never really be cute until they are talking robots. So the next step was creating the vocal characteristics of the turrets. Working with Ellen McLean, we settled on an innocent-sounding voice with dialogue to match. This juxtaposition of killing machine and innocent, non-aggressive personality ends up making the Portal turret a memorable character.
Okay. La verdad que sí. No me extraña nada.
Deploying. Deploying.
Vital testing apparatus destroyed.
Even though we didn't want Portal to be too combat heavy, we wanted to add at least a light combat mechanic. After a few less than successful attempts to actually realize this light combat concept, we settled on turrets as a good compromise. The turrets can be defeated with tricky Portal maneuvers, but they're also susceptible to a more straightforward berserker approach.
La verdad que eso está genial. Esas dos opciones, poder elegir cualquiera de ellas, está genial.
Are you still there? Firing. Searching. Are you still there? Please put me down. Not functioning. I don't blame you. Who's there? Hey. Shutting down.
¿Qué pasa, Calvus? ¿Qué dices? Aquí estoy, tío, disfrutando del portal este con el RTX y tal. Y leyendo los comentarios de los desarrolladores y tal. Y la verdad que fue un juego bastante curioso. Y con unas mecánicas bastante nuevas. Muy propio de Steam, vaya, y de Valve. Y nada, me lo he pasado por la mañana, digamos, ahí un poquitín a lo rápido en castellano y tal. Y ahora pues me lo he puesto en inglés con comentarios de los desarrolladores y todo. Ya te digo, aquí estoy tan entretenidico, vaya. Con la movida, tío.
Even though Portal tells a simple story, we created a lot of backstory. For Aperture Science, for its employees, for its rivalry with the hated Black Mesa, and for where all of this fits into the cosmology of Half-Life. This first Portal game doesn't reveal all of it, but we crammed a lot of little details into the environments. This area, for instance, called the Ratman Den, hints that there may be other people trapped in the facility.
Ahora que sí, te van dando pistas ahí en plan y te ayuda también. The cake is a lie, the cake is a lie, the cake is a lie. La tarta es mentira, la tarta es una mentira, la tarta es una mentira. Dios, tío. A ver, aparecen por ahí las nuevas 4090 que las han sacado hace poco a venta y tal, las RTX de eso, la serie 4000, y pues meten el, digamos, DLSS 3.0. A ver, ya para los que tienen los que tenemos la serie 3080 y demás, pues ya tienes que bajarlo un poquitín o utilizarle otras. A ver, por ejemplo, la calidad de imagen sí que la puedo poner en ultra, pero lo que viene siendo el DLSS hay que modificarlo. Como es el 1.0, el 2.0, el 3.0, pues este ya digamos que te lo dejan preparado para 4090. Un poquitín de marketing en sí, con bastantes opciones. Todo esto ya es de desarrollador, todas estas opciones. Tiene bastantes cosas interesantes y tal. Pero bueno, o sea, la calidad visual que tengo, pues con una puta tarjeta gráfica, el jugar como estoy jugando y al mismo tiempo transmitirlo así, pues ¿qué más puedes pedir, tío? No sé, está bastante guay, tío. A ver las torretitas. ¿No ha caído encima o qué?
Is anyone there?
Ah, que te pillaste la RTX, qué bien, tío. Sí, joder, pues estuve un verano, me cago en Dios, solamente para poder pillarla, tío. Currando todo el puto verano ahí, sudando como un cabrón. Nada más que para la puta tarjeta, porque, o sea, además que, o sea, la pillé más o menos carilla, estaban... Ahora porque ha bajado bastante más lo del Bitcoin y aún están algo decentes de precio. Decentes pero caras, son así. Pero yo la pillé carica. La puta tarjeta. Pero bueno, o sea, la volvería a pegarme ese veranaco, sudando. Sin dudarlo, vaya.
Searching. Are you still there? Uh-oh.
Oye, que soy yo, le dice tú.
Put me down.
qué cabrona estaba la otra, tío! Yo tengo que cambiar todo el ordenador. Al final, ya sabes, tío, si va pasando el tiempo... Pero vaya, ayer también estuve pues, colocando un Intel... un Pentium de doble núcleo de los sockets 776 y ya flipaba, tío. Digo, es que no puedes instalar nada ya, te piden para todo. O sea, te dicen que no va a haber mantenimiento ya ni para el Chrome ni para nada. O sea, no sé ni cómo estaba funcionando ese ordenador. Hay que ir cambiando, tío, sí. Pero bueno, pero no todo el mundo puede, que esa es la putada, ¿no? De siempre.
Target, who are you? Critical error. Help. Hello. I don't. Activate. Are you still there?
Ojo con los puntos, chaval, aquí que nos la lía.
Are you still there? Who's there? Deploying target lost. Deploying. Are you still there?
¿Tumba la torreta de los cojones o no?
Searching. Goodbye. No hard feelings.
Putas torretas, chaval.
Activated. There you are. Are you still there? Hey.
Venga por ahí, hombre.
Deploying. Put me down. Are you still there? I don't blame you.
Well done, Android. The Enrichment Center once again reminds you that Android Hell is a real place where you will
Tengo un procesador de mierda
be
de
sent at the
5
first sign
núcleos
of
nada más. Ya
defiance.
no puedo emitir la mitad de juegos, por no decir todos. Hombre, a ver, 5 núcleos también, a ver, depende de la velocidad. Luego es que influye todo, tío. La RAM, por ejemplo, tío. Yo fíjate, la RAM que tengo ahora mismo me venía preparada para overclockear, digamos. Pero siendo AMD mi procesador, no solo valía activando el botón de overclock, por así decirlo. Tenías que hacerlo manual y demás. Y estuve no sé cuánto tiempo pues con la memoria a 2133 de reloj, cuando la podría subir hasta 3600, tío. O sea, y ahí eso fue un cambio, vamos, notable, no, lo siguiente, tío. Y son mucha pijada, tío, también, o sea, es que... Pero que sí, que es caro y que hay que dejarse pastas, y pues sí, tío. Es la mierda de esto, tío.
The vital apparatus vent will deliver a weighted companion cube in 3, 2, 1. This weighted companion cube will accompany you through the test chamber. Please take care of it.
We designed this hall so that players had to use a box as a shield, but many playtesters read it as an avoid the energy ball timing puzzle and simply left the box behind. We solved this in large part by having the AI talk about the box. A lot. Once the dialogue went in, playtesters went from routinely abandoning the box to never wanting it to leave their side. Since we weren't going to make the players lug a box around for the rest of the game, we added a scene at the end of the level where the players are forced to kill the box.
The symptoms most commonly produced by enrichment center testing are superstition, perceiving inanimate objects as alive, and hallucinations. The enrichment center reminds you that the weighted companion cube will never threaten to stab you and, in fact, cannot speak.
Vale. Vamos al recorrido. Va, viene, vuelve a ir. Explota antes y ahora lanza otra. Así que nos vamos detrás de ella. Que choque. Vuelve para allí, vuelve para nosotros antes. Vuelve para allí. Vale. Ok. Vale. Ah, vale, ok. Ok. Sube una plataforma. Así, aquí había que activar movidas estas. Aquí hemos dejado el azul, vale. No será que me dé. Me dio, joder que sí me dio. Oh. Puta. A ver, la puedo poner un poquitín más hacia un lado para que no me venga tan aquí la bola. Eso es.
The enrichment center reminds you that the weighted companion cube cannot speak. In the event that the weighted companion cube does speak, the enrichment center urges you to disregard its advice.
A ver. Si lo mandamos por aquí, pegaría arriba. O sea, haría... Se supone... A ver, dejamos ahí azul, vamos a por el naranja. Aquí en teoría no debe quedar... No queda rayo, es solamente el de ahí atrás. Ahora lanzará otro, eso es. Vamos corriendo. Perfecto.
You did it. The weighted companion cube certainly brought you good luck. However, it cannot accompany you for the rest of the test and, unfortunately, must be euthanized. Please escort your companion cube to the Aperture Science Emergency Intelligence Incinerator.
Que escolte al cubo al incinerador.
The awful end of the companion cube serves a dual purpose. It adds a lot more sinister character to our already pretty sinister AI, while simultaneously training the player to use the incinerator, a key component of the final level. The training has a nice dramatic payoff, since players later get to avenge the death of their good friend the companion cube by stuffing some of the AI's important parts into exactly the same type of incinerator.
Moral responsibility for the companion cube euthanizing process. You euthanized your faithful companion cube more quickly than any test subject on record. Congratulations.
Ha aplicado la eutanasia más rápido que ningún sujeto. Enhorabuena. En plan, como que te dicen que eres un traidor, que eres un hijo de puta y que lo has hecho con toda la emoción del mundo, tú. Cuando no te has destacado ninguna otra puta prueba que acabamos de hacer. Qué cabrona, tú. No sé si es tóxica, tú, la robot.
Creating the AI voice was a multi-step process. First, we ran every line of dialogue through an automatic text-to-speech program. In the studio, we cued the actress who plays Gladys, Ellen McLean, with the computer-generated sound file. She'd mimic it, and then over the course of several takes, adjust her performance to clean up any words that were unintelligible in the computer version. For instance, here's a line as Ellen delivered it.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock. As the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
Once the recording was done, we processed all the dialogue to give it an extra computery edge. Here's that same line as it appears in the game, with the pitch constrained, pitch modulation suppressed, and the formant moved up.
Qué buena.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock. As the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
Genial, genial, genial.
The experiment is nearing its conclusion. The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
Se le horneará y luego habrá una tarta. O sea... Bueno. Ay, ay. No, 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 no pasa nada. No pasa nada. Es divertido cagarla de vez en cuando. Esta tengo más caída por aquí. La verdad es que tampoco. No, me va a pasar lo mismo. Lo mismo me ha pasado. Pues la pongo más abajo. Quieto. Mejor, ¿no? Y aquí ahora que hay más altura, ahora sí que puedo hacerlo así. Eso es.
Would you come over here?
¿Tumbo dos? Miércoles. Entonces nos habría costado más, hacerlo, esto. Y esto estaba por aquí. ¿Por dónde ha pasado? No le da, Ah, que está más para allá. ¡Ay! ¡Que me caigo! ¡Joder! ¡Ole! ¡Ole, ole, ole! Maravilloso. Bueno, hay que esperar a que vuelva a la plataforma, creo. Antes me ha costado pillarlo, ¿eh? ¡No! Le llego a hacer el tirón y vaya. Que no hay por qué hacerlo del tirón, o sea, se puede hacer perfectamente con pausa, como hemos hecho el viaje anterior, pero bueno. No la liamos por poco. Por poco no la liamos. Vale. Save, ok. No sé qué portal he hecho. Perfecto.
Well done.
Perfecto.
Be advised that the next test requires exposure to uninsulated electrical parts that may be dangerous under certain conditions. For more information, please attend an Enrichment Center Electrical Safety Seminar.
Hostia, antes en el gameplay de la mañana me pegó buen rato aquí, para cuando he pillado la movida.
Welcome to the final test. When you are done, you will drop the device in the Equipment Recovery Annex. Enrichment Center regulations require both hands to be empty before any cake.
We use these moving platforms to add time pressure to puzzles. A sequence of simple decisions feels much more climactic under time pressure, in contrast to most puzzles in Portal which can be solved at the player's leisure. Puzzles that aren't time-bound can be more complex, but at the expense of being less dramatic.
Pues sí, la verdad es que no es un tiempo excesivo, pero tiene que ser muy secuencial, desde luego. Que viene, güey. ¡Eja! ¡No! ¡Corto que eres! ¡Corto! Quítalo. Claro, le tengo que dar distancia. Le tengo que dar distancia a esa bola si no quiero que vuelva. A ver. Ese mismo. Podría adelantarlo también esto, pero bueno. Mira, quedar sin leer el...
Congratulations.
Mierda.
The test is now over. All aperture technologies remain safely operational up to 4,000 degrees Kelvin.
Before the player escapes the fire pit, the AI dialogue is all delivered in a computerized monotone. After the escape, however, Gladys gets progressively more expressive until, by the end, she's cycling through a whole mess of emotions. The role required an actor capable of mimicking the computer-generated voice while still infusing it with some real character. Since we planned to end the game with a song, she also needed to have a good singing voice. The woman we ended up casting, Ellen McLean, is a great mimic, a terrific actor, and a classically trained operatic soprano, so that worked out pretty good.
What are you doing? Stop it. We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder you. We are...
18, 39...
For the players...
No quiero quedarme con las ganas de lo que dicen. Aquí.
Sometimes little details make a huge difference. For instance, we had to add the left side to this wall to give players a visual representation of how thick it is. Without it, playtesters frequently thought that the hall had just gotten impossibly narrower, panicked, and stopped making rational decisions.
Congratulations. The test is now over. All aperture technologies remain safely operational up to 4,000 degrees Kelvin. Rest assured that there is absolutely no chance of a dangerous
Y la verdad es que no se me... O sea, tiene pinta de ser un grosor fino, no sé por qué. Hubiera sido una sorpresa que fuese más grande. Bye.
What are you doing? Stop it. We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder you. We are very, very happy for your success. We are throwing a party in honor of your tremendous success. Place the device on the ground, then lie on your stomach with your arms at your sides. A party associate will arrive shortly to collect you for your party. Make no further attempt to leave the testing area. Assume the party escort submission position or you will miss the party.
In these new areas, we weren't using the surfaces the player is familiar with. The rules for which new surfaces portals can be placed on, and which surfaces are off-limits, needed to be taught. So, we created this area both to show the player they've escaped into the guts of the facility, and to retrain them in which surfaces are valid for portal placement.
Maravilloso. Sí, se hace raro abrir la puerta, de hecho. ¿Ah? Puertas. Son puertas. O sea, que vuelta... Ah, y ahora te puedes abrir. Ah, bueno. Sí, importantes, vale. X a la... Soy una caja.
Okay, the test is over now. You win. Go back to the recovery annex for your cake. It was a fun test.
El nivel
and we're
prohibido.
all impressed at how
O sea, el
much you
nivel que
won.
estaba...
The test is over.
Que era imposible de
Come back.
hacer.
After players escape, we let them solve an old chamber in a new way. This reintroduction of a familiar space, which can now be solved in an incorrect way, helps convey the sense that players are cheating the system while forging their own path through the facility.
Exacto. Exacto.
Somebody cut the cake. I told them to wait for you, but they cut it anyway. There is still some left if you hurry back.
Vale. Ah. Eso es. Está muy currado esto, tío. Está muy currado. Aquí había dos que eran los que pegaban, que eran justo estos. A ver qué dicen.
One bizarre fact of game design is that without some serious prompting, players will rarely look up. In this case, the prompt is a ladder. Most players will investigate where the ladder goes, which is up. The ladder actually falls apart as soon as it's touched, but by then it's served its purpose.
Esto también. No sé, no hay que venir aquí a nada.
We designed the post-escape levels to give players brief glimpses of the inner workings of the Enrichment Center. This particular area exposes part of the storage cube distribution system. These little vignettes help make this section of the game visually distinct from the testing chambers, while reinforcing the idea that players are now behind the scenes.
Through playtesting, we discovered that fatigue set in if we didn't break up the more complicated, deliberately paced puzzles with problems that required the player to perform a much simpler task under time pressure. These pistons proved to be a good foundation for that simpler type of puzzle. Because they feature a moving surface, they also gave us an opportunity to employ some unusual portal transitions, such as ceiling to ceiling.
Didn't we have some fun, though? Remember when the platform was sliding into the fire pit and I said goodbye? And you were like, and then I was all, we pretended we were going to murder you. That was great.
During development, we'd often run across some piece of level design that would break the portal system. For instance, this ceiling-to-ceiling transition was an unexpected edge case that ended up requiring a lot of effort to make work. We tried never to take the easy route of simply changing the level design to work with existing portal technology. We knew that once the game was out in the wild, custom map creators would stress the system in ways we hadn't even considered, so we made it as flexible as possible.
Qué puta trampa, ¿no? ¡Vete! Qué puta trampa. Claro. Genial. Vale. Muy bien. Te veo, te he visto. Creo que te he visto. Mierda, coño. Apunta más arriba, lobo. ¿Hola? Eso es. cruzado o no? Sí. Miércoles. Estoy arriba. Qué pasada, tío.
It's funny, actually, when you think about it. Someday we'll remember this and laugh, and laugh, and laugh. Oh boy. Well, you may have to look back.
In the sound booth, you're only connected to the production team by an intercom, and they can talk about you, and you don't know what they're saying. But you trust that they're being kind. And, you know, they'll push a button, and then they'll say something to me. They'll say, a direction. No, that wasn't right. Do it again. Give us 3 more reads. And a lot of times what happens is they would play the computer-generated sound for me on one line, and then I'm supposed to recreate that 3 times with the director saying, okay, well, you know, more sarcastic or more angry or more irritated. So you stand in the booth hour after hour after hour. They're always very nice. They let you have water in here and maybe a pencil to take a few notes. And of course you want it to be interesting because you want them to hire you again.
Vamos, que no tiene nada que ver con el sitio este donde han puesto el comentario.
Malfunctioning. Critical error.
An important design goal of these post is
Shutting down.
Okay.
Who's there? Target lost.
Estoy aquí.
Resting. Is anyone there? Quiet. Uh-oh. Take it. 1.
casi me la lío a mí mismo, tío, como un corto. Bicho del demonio.
As the end of the game draws closer, we increase the ratio of time-pressured puzzles, like this turret ambush, to give the players the sense that they're approaching a climactic encounter. As the end of the game draws closer, we increase the ratio of time-pressured puzzles, like this turret ambush.
Que se aproxima el clímax, ojito. El clímax.
An important design goal of these post-escape levels was to give players the sense that they're running wild inside the guts of the facility. With that in mind, we added plenty of nooks and crannies for players to crawl into or place portals through. This ended up being a tricky lighting challenge, as the areas needed to be bright enough to navigate, while still being dim enough to feel like obscure, disused sections of the building.
Curioso. Tú fuera aquí, me das miedo. Me fío ni muerta de vosotros, vaya.
An important design...
Ya.
An important... An important design goal of these post-escape levels.
No! Person. You know that, right? Good people, don't end up here. Can you hear me?
¿No veo o qué?
Searching. Who are you?
¿Está atrofiada esto o qué? ¡Oh! Fuera. Eso es.
Stop shooting.
This is your fault. It didn't have to be like this. I'm not kidding now.
Sarcasm.
Turn back or I will kill you. I'm going to
Sarcasm.
kill you, and all the cake is gone.
Espera, hija, que está
You
hablando...
don't even care, do you? This is your your last chance.
Sarcasm. GLaDOS is sarcastic a lot. And that's so much fun. But while I was trying to do this, trying to build in all these emotions, I still had to maintain the computer sound and maintain the pronunciation of repeated phrases. You know, aperture science and the enrichment center.
These rocket sentries originally fired lasers. We switched from lasers to rockets after we introduced the glass breaking mechanic, mainly because glass shattering in a massive rocket explosion turned out to be a lot more satisfying than glass just slowly being melted by a laser. Originally they also spoke, just like the bullet turrets. Because players often redirect the rockets with their backs to the turret, however, a distinct, uncluttered sound cue was required. The voice simply added too much noise to the rocket redirect mechanic.
Genial, entonces.
Breaking this tube gives players a chance to test out their newly trained rocket redirecting and glass breaking skills in a slightly different context, which helps cement the training.
Premio. Gracias. Aquí estamos. Ah, vale, sé dónde estoy. Sé dónde estoy.
Please put me down. Malfunction. Who's there? Target lost. Are you still there? Who are you? Hey.
Qué guay, tío.
Activated. Searching. Hey.
A la verga, güey. Vale.
No hard feelings. Hello? Are you still there? Functioning. Shutting down.
Shutting down. Despejado.
This massive turret ambush was originally a lot more massive, with turrets that dropped from the ceiling and popped out of surprise hatches. In fact, for a while, it was the game's climactic battle. Through playtesting, we learned that this type of pure combat experience didn't really fit with the preceding few hours of player training.
Claro.
Over several iterations, we toned down the combat and made the room more about using portal momentum to fling yourself great distances, a skill that playtesters really enjoyed using, and that's a key component of what eventually became our final battle.
Pues acertasteis. Por cierto, ¿dónde tengo que ir? Ah, vale. ¡Oh! Me la cuelan siempre, tío.
Who's there? Target. I don't blame you.
Naranja, ok. Maravilloso.
Originally, these catwalks were decorative, but playtesters consistently thought they were significant and often spent a lot of time trying to reach them. We didn't want to stand between people and their desire to walk on the catwalks, so we redesigned the area to make catwalks not only accessible, but also necessary to proceed. Originally, these catwalks were decorative.
Ok. Vámonos, pasarelas. Danger. Captain, this give me start and stop auto. Oh, este equipamiento empieza, o sea, arranca y se detiene automáticamente. Qué bien, qué bien, qué bien.
fiction behind this red phone is that while GLaDOS was being developed, it was somebody's job to sit by it. And if it ever looked like the AI was becoming sentient and godlike, that person would pick up the phone and call somebody to come help. In the point in time where the actual game takes place, it's become obvious that the Aperture Science red phone plan didn't 100% work out. The fiction behind this red phone is that while GLaDOS was being developed, it was somebody's job.
Well, you found me. Congratulations. Was it worth it? Because despite your violent behavior, the only thing you've managed to break so far is my heart. Maybe you could settle for that, and we'll just call it a day. I guess we both know that isn't going to happen. You chose this path. Now I have a surprise for you. Deploying surprise in 5, 4... Time out for a second. That wasn't supposed to happen. Do you see that thing that fell out of me? What is that? It's not the surprise.
Es que me gustaría escuchar los comentarios, pero no te vas a callar, ¿verdad?
It's a mystery I'll solve later by myself, because you'll be dead.
So when they told me
that thing, my guess is that touching it will just make your life even worse somehow.
No se va a callar.
So when they told me that there was going to be a song at the end,
but if it were me, I'd leave that thing alone.
All right, who's going to write the song? And they told me there was going to be a song written by Jonathan Colton. And I listened to a song that Jonathan had written, and it was very funny, very clever. So I thought at that point, well, you know, this will be okay. But I am an opera singer, so usually I sing, and I thought, well, will I be able to have the right style for the song? So I was concerned. But then before the recording, they sent me an MP3 file of the song, and I listened to it with Jonathan singing it, but I loved the little song. And at home, as I practiced the little song, I tried to, you know, get back to GLaDOS's voice. You know, Aperture Science. Just this tiny little passive-aggressive computer who's all alone until people try to come in and murder her. So of course she gets upset. But she seems to have this
I am being serious now. That crazy thing is not part of any test
and I want to play the
protocol.
game because I want to recreate the cake recipe and then put Portal on it and be able to serve
Just
it to
ignore
my
that thing
friends
and stand
when they come
still.
to my house.
Qué guay.
GLaDOS, the rogue disk operating system that now runs Aperture Science, went through a bunch of design iterations. Early versions included a floating brain, a sprawling spidery mechanism, and an upside-down version of Botticelli's Rise of Venus built out of robot parts and wire. Eventually, we settled on a huge mechanical device with a delicate robotic figure dangling out of it, which successfully conveys both GLaDOS's raw power and her femininity. GLaDOS, the rogue disk operating system that now runs Aperture Science, went through...
I'll tell you what that thing isn't. It isn't yours, so leave it alone. Where are you taking that thing?
Estoy mirando a ver si hay más...
You're kidding me. Did you just stuff that Aperture Science thing, we don't know what it does, into an Aperture Science Emergency Intelligence Incinerator? That has got to be the dumbest thing that... Whoa. Good news. I figured out what that thing you just incinerated did. It was a morality core they installed after I flooded the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin to make me stop flooding the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin. So get comfortable while I warm up the neurotoxin emitters. That core may have had some ancillary responsibilities. I can't shut off the turret defenses. Oh well. If you want my advice, you should just lie down in front of a rocket. Trust me, it'll be a lot less. Alright. Keep doing whatever it is you think you're doing. Killing you and giving you good advice aren't mutually exclusive. The rocket really is the way to go.
What is that? What's that? What's that?
That thing you burned up isn't important to me.
That thing has no
It's the fluid catalytic cracking unit. It made shoes for
What's wrong
orphans.
with your legs?
Nice job breaking it,
coming
hero.
there? Oh hey, you're the lady from the test. Hi. What's that noise? Is that a
This isn't brave. It's murder. What did I ever do to you? The difference between us is that I can feel pain. You don't even care, do you? You think you're doing some damage?
2 + 2 is...
In base 4, I'm fine. I let you survive this long because I was curious about your behavior. Destroy that part of me. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to now, I can't get the neurotoxin into your head any faster. I'd just like to point out that you were given every opportunity to succeed. There was even going to be a party for you. A big party that all your friends were invited to. I invited your best friend, the companion Cube. Of course, he couldn't come because you murdered him. All your other friends couldn't come either because you don't have any other friends because of how unlikable you are. It says so right here in your personnel file. Unlikable. Neurotoxin. So deadly. Joking.
I'm kidding.
When I said deadly neurotoxin, when I said deadly neurotoxin, the deadly was in massive sarcasm quotes. You, on the other hand, are going to find its deadliness a lot less funny. Who's gonna make the cake when I'm gone? You. Look, you're wasting your time. And believe me, you don't have a whole lot left to waste. What's your point anyway? Survival? Well then, the last thing you want to do is hurt me. I have your brain scanned and permanently backed up in case something terrible happens to you. Which is just about to. Don't believe me? Here, I'll put you on. That's you. That's how dumb you sound. You've been wrong about every single thing you've ever done, including this thing. You're not smart. You're not a scientist. You're not a doctor. You're not even a full-time employee. Where did your life go so wrong? Are you trying to escape? Things have changed since the last time you left the building. What's going on out there will make you get back in here. I have an infinite capacity for knowledge, and even I'm not sure what's going on outside. All I know is I'm the only thing standing between us and them. Well, I was. Unless you have a plan for building... Good job on that, by the way.
Sarcasm, save self-test complete. Stop squirming and die like an adult or I'm going to delete your backup. Stop! Okay, enough. I deleted it. No matter what happens next, you're dead. You're such a murder of a baby, you're dead.
Your entire life is
A 4090.
Thank you for assuming the Putty Air Current submission position.
Es una obra de arte este juego. Y el sonido espectacular también, vaya. Que del sonido casi no te das cuenta hasta que no vuelves a jugar a un juego de los antiguos, de los que no tienen este sonido. Ahí dices, uff. ¿Qué sala hay?
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. And the science gets done and you make a neat gun for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me and tore me to pieces and threw every piece into a fire. As they burned, it hurt because I was so happy for you. Now these points of data make a beautiful line, and we're out of data, we're releasing on time. So I'm glad I got burned. Think of all the things we learned for the people who are still alive. Go ahead and leave me. I think I prefer to stay inside. Maybe you'll find someone else to help you. Maybe Black Mesa. That was a joke, haha, that chance. Anyway, this cake is great. It's so delicious and moist. Look at me still talking when there's science to do. When I look up there, it makes me glad I'm not you. I've experiments to run. There is research to be done on the people who are still alive. And believe me, I am still alive. I'm doing science and I'm still alive. I feel fantastic and I'm still alive. While you're dying, I'll be still alive. And when you're dead, I will be still alive. Still alive. Still alive.
Perfecta. Fíjate que la radio durante... O sea, me resulta casi un incordio en cada prueba. Claro, es que no es compatible casi el estilo de música que suena, ¿no? Con el escenario en el que estás jugando, tan hostil, tan tan al filo de la muerte, que ahora que... Es que parece que ahora sabe bien esta canción. Ahora ni molesta, ni incordia, ni nada. La caja de corazón. la verdad que se hace cortito. Este portal con RTX se hace bastante corto. Creo que el juego en realidad tenía más... Es que tampoco lo llega a acabar. Una vela. A una vela. Creo que casi jugué más al segundo que al primero, pero tampoco lo llegué a terminar al segundo. No sé por qué me... ¿O sí terminé el segundo? No me acuerdo, tío. Tengo que mirarlo. Claro, jugar al segundo también después de haber jugado al primero con el RTX, pues era una diferencia también de gráficos bastante a peor. Pero bueno, si la jugabilidad es buena... El telefonillo genial. Eso no sé si es un ratón. ¿Es un ratón? Sí, un mouse. Muy interesante y sobre todo muy artista la chica esta, joder. La voz de ópera más el arte que ha tenido con el doblaje del robot me gusta bastante más en inglés que en castellano. Y luego si además le ha puesto ella voz a la canción final, pues... menudo trabajazo se ha pegado, la verdad. Y ya ni te cuento del equipo de desarrollo, de todo lo que es la física del juego, que ya la física del motor Source era brutal. Pues el tener que mover todo el código de eso simplemente para poder hacer este juego, que es que además no hay ni un fallo, o sea, no... El único bug que se le puede sacar a esto, pues una puerta que le das a abrir y por cojones se tiene que abrir hacia un lado en vez de hacia el otro. Pero eso no es un bug que te moleste, que te incordie ni que te impida hacer nada. Lo lleva al terreno del actual Warzone y demás. Que es que, como no me va a parecer una vergüenza, que lancen un juego nuevo, que hablen de una nueva era y que cada vez que vayan a arreglar algo metan más la pata, tío. O sea, aquí se han pegado un estudio de la leche con jugadores probando el juego, que es lo que hay que hacer, probar el juego, para cuando salga al mercado que no parezcas retrasado, ¿no? Y bueno, y es que esas cosas se notan, y bueno, y aquí está el fruto, la verdad. Es bastante injusto, ¿no? Pues que lo que más donde más gente está ahora mismo pues es en un sitio lleno de bugs, lleno de una dejadez de trabajo impresionante, que también tiene muchas cosas buenas, por supuesto, pero joder, no es bueno para la industria del videojuego que acostumbre a unos jugadores a estar jugando a juegos con bugs. No es bueno. Y todo por el puto dinero y por los puñeteros inversionistas y total, que Microsoft pues ayer dieron la noticia en el Washington Post de que va a tener que ir a juicio sí o sí, porque no van a poder... No les han dejado... Después de hacerles la auditoría no les van a dejar comprar Activision Blizzard, así que... La cosa va para largo y veremos a ver cómo acaba también. Pero bueno. Pues voy a ver si tengo por ahí el Portal 2 para echarle un ojillo también. Y bueno, pues cierro aquí este directillo. Prácticamente todo en inglés. Los comentarios, claro, de los desarrolladores y tal. Con esa pequeña introducción de Gabe. Y bueno, y la relación que tiene pues también este juego con Half-Life, ¿no? Es lo que también... Pues a todos los que les guste Half-Life, pues aunque no sea Half-Life, se respira ese ambiente y bueno, y está muy... Y es que es lo que pasa, o sea, y es que si sacan un Half-Life 3 va a ser especial, va a ser... No puede ser un juego normal y corriente. Y eso pues cualquiera que sea seguidor de Half-Life pues lo sabe. Y bueno, pues yo igual cuando tenga 70 años pues igual disfrutamos de Half-Life 3. Quién sabe, si llego también, ¿no? Y bueno, pues cortamos aquí el stream. Lo he disfrutado como un niño pequeño. Y bueno, no sé si abriré ahora. ¿Qué hora es? Las 8:25. Pues igual abro con con un poquitín de DMZ. Voy a ver si tengo el Portal 2 y abriré con DMZ. Saludos a Calburrania, no sé qué más ha pasado por aquí, Trébol. Gracias por los 3 likes. Y bueno, pues otro jueguete más y eso, se ha quedado grabado con buena calidad, que es lo que me interesa a mí. Así que palín, pa'lante como los de Alicante. Y eso, con cariño y disimulo. Hasta los huevos, gente. Me voy a poner esto de tono en el móvil. El ricochet este, qué pena que... No creo que haya jugadores, tío, con instalar. Bueno, no ocupará mucho. ¿Cuánto ocupa el ricochet? Voy a salir ya de él. La de viciada es la de horas que le he metido el ricochet este en el ciberzona cero de aquí de mi pueblo. ¿Cuánto? Espacio requerido en disco 17 megas. Oh my god. Tenía que ocupar poquísimo, tío. No habrá servidores, tío, de esto. Es que molaría un montón, la verdad. Steam me está descargando Ricochet. ¿Puedes ver cómo va la descarga? Ok. ¿Dónde ha dicho que lo podía ver? Parece que ahora está dando vuelta ahí. 17 megas, ya ves tú. 100%, ok. Verificando, jugar. A ver si hay servidores de esto, no creo. Buscar servidor. Claro, había un mapa en concreto que me gustaba. A ver, ¿qué ocurre si entramos aquí? LOL. Uf. Esto está lagueadísimo. LOL. Uf, qué lag, tío. ¿Se jodió o qué? ¿Ya está? No, se me ha apagado el monitor. La pantalla, vaya. Sí, pero va lagueadísimo. Deathmatch. A ver, vamos a este. Uf, what? ¿También va con lag? También, tío, pero que es como que le da tembleques, tío. Latencia 174, tío. ¿Por qué? Menos de 50. como que es inestable, ¿no? No sé. Y si creo yo una partida, a ver, vamos a crear una partida, me cago en la mar. Crear servidor. Venga. ¿Qué cojones? No, aquí hay algo que no va bien. Claro que se pone a jugar a esto también ahora. He intentado conectar con el servidor, pero ese servidor, si la he creado yo. Aquí están jugando, pero es que a mí me va fatal. Y ahora me saca, o sea, es que se me queda pantalla en negro. No sé, será algún problema gráfico, vete a saber cuál. Es como que no me deja girar. Video, OpenGL, ¿sabes? Buah. Cabrón. Me cago en Dios. Ahí va, que la liamos. Es que es el movimiento con lo que tengo el problema, tío. Pero ¿por qué me vas a esta resolución? Ah, vale, ya sé lo que ha pasado. Ahora sí. Pero vamos a tener el problema de girar también. O sea, ¿por qué no me deja girar esto, tío? Joystick. No, hombre. ¿Viste? Ratón usa el ratón para mirar a torreo, claro. Apuntos enemigos automáticamente. Pues no. Ah, mira, la mierda esta era. Ahora esto va en modo joystick. Aparte que va con mucho lag, claro. Me caigo. Double kill pone. Y esto básicamente era pillar discos. Esto cuando te liabas aquí con todo el ciber, tío, todos los colegas aquí metidos, macho. Empezas a pillar discos y es que además salen las cabezas cortadas volando. Sigue dando tirones, pero bueno. Están todos aquí queriendo pillar munición, que sale en medio la munición. Esto es disparo rápido y es acumulable. Es acumulable, pero si te tumban, pues no acumulas nada, claro. Los tiro, Claro, es que me cago en Dios. Es que a ellos les va bien, a mí no me va bien. A mí no me va bien. Hostias, los que cortan cabezas, tú. ¡Aleluya! ¡Aleluya! ¡Matamos a uno! ¡Aleluya! Una kill. Me cago en la puta de oro. Y es que cuando te pillas discos triples, más los que congelan, más los que cortan... Mira, discos triples. Más los que van rápido, más los que cortan cabezas, empiezas a lanzar discos ahí y empiezas como si fueras qué sé yo qué, tío. Y está súper guapo eso. Que a ver qué chorrada. A ver, ya me voy a otro server a ver si, qué sé yo, tío. Cago en Dios. ¿Esto qué es la po? Po. Igual me he metido la misma. ¿Ves? Este tirón, ¿por qué lo tengo en todas las partidas, tío? O sea, ¿es movida en mi conexión o qué, tío? Internet, qué sé yo. Options. Bloquear contenido. Voces. ¿Qué contenido? Pues esto es una contraseña para desactivar imágenes poco apropiadas para joder. No, hombre, no. Renderizador. Resolución. LOL.
Hola, Gordon Freeman. Me alegro de verle.
Qué guay. Hostia, pero no... Your lamp has been auto-detected. ¿Ah? What? ¿Se me escucha o qué? ¡Hala! Tiene spawn mamau. Mamau no lo siguiente. ¡Hijo de puta! Mira, el rato que llevan 242, 229, tío. ¿Cómo subo arriba? Ah, vale. Eso de congelar. All platform gaming. Es que... Es que se tendría que conservar, no tendrías por qué perder los discos. Creo que había alguna manera para no perderlos. Pero no me acuerdo, vaya. Miércoles. Triples. Discos triples. ¡Ay, qué puta! ¡Qué puta, tú! Ahí se me apaga la tele otra vez. Pues bien, oye. Pues bien. Deathmatch Extended. ¿Eso cuál es? Suena... De hecho ni suena. No, extended no, ponme el normal. Desconectar. No. Crear servidor. 10 match a secas, eso es. Ahí va, que es verdad que con el botón derecho tirabas un super disco que... Vale, ok. Claro, los tirabas del tirón, pero te salía ese discazo, es verdad. Tenías dos opciones, o hacer así, o tirar el super disco. Latencia cero, evidentemente. Estamos en LAN. Voz pone. Hay discos triples y rápidos. Este era el mapa. Este era el mapa. Más chiquitín. 20 jugadores. Los 20 del pueblo. 3 eurillos y te pegabas toda la santa tarde. Me cago en la mar ahí. Triple tiro. Tiro rápido. Me falta que me dé el de congelar y el de cortar cabezas. Y con eso ya, vamos. Este es el de cortar. Tenemos casi de todo. Falta de congelar y listo, creo. Triple tiro, tiro rápido, tiro congelación, tiro potente. Pues mira, tú pillabas a uno que iba saltado de aquí para ahí y empezabas. Y hacías así, vamos, y de ahí no salía. No salía, vaya. Ya, bueno, pues. En fin. Opposing Force lo tengo instalado. ¿Cuánto ocupará el Opposing Force? Los 173 megas. Ponlo, hombre. Ponlo. Vamos a echar un bootcamp. Por los viejos tiempos. Me acuerdo que jugamos un torneo. Y es que teníamos un problema. Solamente jugábamos en bootcamp, en bootcamp, en bootcamp, en bootcamp y en bootcamp. No jugábamos... Bootcamp era el nombre del mapa. Allá, el campamento, ¿no? Es que no había otro mapa. Había alguno rarillo y demás que de vez en cuando ponía otro mapa, pero a nadie le gustaba otro mapa. ¿Qué pasa? Que en el torneo pues pusieron varios mapas. Disposal... No me acuerdo cuál había... ¿Cómo se llamaba esa? Crossfire. Buah. Bootcamp también estaba. Otra que tenía una C y una O en el nombre, que no me acuerdo. Ahora lo veré. Si eso. Jugar, ya está instalado. Joder, qué fácil. Y claro, y nos pegaron una paliza al final. Nos pegaron una paliza en todas, menos en Bootcamp, que era la que controlábamos. Bájale al audio, bájale. Ah, Datacore también. Disposal. ¿Y cuál era la de...? A ver si veo el nombre de la otra que nos metieron... Outpost o algo así, ¿era? Outpost. En esa nos llevamos la de nuestra vida. Va. Partida. Se podían meter bots, estaría guay. Juego en equipo, fuego amigo, permanencia de armas, reaparición automática, autoteam assigned. Buah, chaval. Ahí va la verga, tú. Claro, es que, a ver, entrada del ratón, opciones. Ratón. Sensibilidad del ratón. Directly access mouse data, sí, por favor. Es que si no... Eso, gracias. Va, chaval. Madre de Dios. El salto largo. No, pero no tengo configurado esto para... Ah, con este era. ¿No? ¿Dónde está? ¿Con el control? Sí, con el control. Vale. Aquí la peña se cogía estas... ¿Dónde estaba? Aquí. Empezaban a hacer cada invento de poner las Claymore estas para aquí. Madre de Dios, tío. Se pegaban cada trincheramiento aquí que flipabas, tío. Y si querías morir, pues ya sabías. ¿Cómo me agacho? Vale. Si querías morir, pues... Claro que si con esto no apuntas, vas en la cadera. Madre mía, tío. Opciones. Teclado, agacharse. Editar. Left shift, eso es. ¡Oh! Madre mía, tío. MP5. No, escopeta. En este mapa, horas y horas, tío. ¡Poh! Y esta era la mochila del que te cargabas, claro. Madre mía. Ya estás arriba. Aquí había un franco o ballesta también. La ballesta está a la derecha. Y esto era, vamos, donde ponía... Uf. Es que claro, no hacía falta ni apuntar. Iba la bala donde esté el punto, tío. No tenía efecto de ningún tipo el franco. Y por aquí que yo creo que se podía saltar. No estoy seguro. Parece que no. Y luego el modo de la mira, tío. Es que viejo, tío. Escudo. Ah, sí, chaval. Ni me acuerdo de esto, tío. Esto te podías mover por los... Por estos. Que a su vez esto eran unos bichitos. Creo. No sé si los he pillado o no. ¿No? Estos bichitos que se iban a comer a los... Buah, ya tengo que ser preciso. Y es que además si no encontraban a nadie, venían a por ti. Si no encontraban a nadie, venían a por ti, macho. Vida, madre mía, tú qué de horas, chaval. Y aquí arriba estaba la ballesta. Aquí. ¿Dónde estaba la ballesta? ¡Bah! Claro, ahí te podías subir también con el... Te podías colar con esto. Ahí sí. ¿Está sincronización vertical puesta? Opciones, a ver. Wait for vertical. No. Eso es. mapa, tío. Madre mía, chaval. Ah, sí. Buah, chaval, el lagartijo este, tío. Que la munición era esto. Así va rebotando, eso es, y de la otra forma detonaba directamente. ¿Qué había aquí arriba? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Cómo que es eso ahí arriba, tío? ¿Y cómo subo ahí arriba? Pero es una M16. Antes creo que era una MB5, tío. A ver si puedo llegar hasta esa zona. Llegamos. ¿Qué cojones es esto, tío? Esto es nuevo, macho. ¿Esto qué coño es esto? Esto no me... Ni puta idea de lo que es eso, ¿eh? Ah, pistolita láser. ¿Esto qué es? Ah, son bichejos de... ¿Son nidos de estos también o qué? Estos tenían también un botón secundario, creo, para hacer algo. Oye. Esto quitabas el láser y lo ponías. Si con el láser lo dirigías. Y sin láser, pues donde lo tirabas. Y esto te quitaba vida, claro, también. Es como me comen a mí los cabrones. Como no tiene otra comida. Oh. ¡Ah! ¡Hijos de puta! Mira tú. No podías tirarlo. ¿O con qué botón se tiraba, tío? Con ese no. En fin, qué tiempos aquellos. Ah, sí, por supuesto nos poníamos todos. ¿Dónde estaba, tío? No, este no. Tampoco. ¿Dónde está el pichón este? El Otis. Tampoco. ¿Cómo? En cuanto vea el nombre... Mira, voy a ver el nombre y sin pincharle encima tengo que caer por huevos. Geman tampoco, Gina tampoco, Barney tampoco. Zombie, Tower, Separ, Recruit, podría ser, no, pero no creo. Grunt, Fast, Drill... El maso, este creo que era. Que era el que... el que iba más delgadito de ropa. Claro, pues a buscar para que cuanto más delgado eras, menos abultabas para comerte balas. Tower. el FASSN de la leche. Lo que pasa es que no lo puedo ver desde tercera persona, pero con este me cago en la mar. Te movías por ahí como los ninjas. Te pillabas el salto largo. Me cago en la puta de los tú. En fin, tronco. Bueno, que iba a cerrar yo, gente.